1 of the Arizona Cardinals 2025 preseason is now in the books. Today we're going to be diving into exactly what we saw today, what we liked, what we didn't like, what are some things the Arizona Cardinals need to work on. Let's be honest, it's preseason, but the Arizona Cardinals end up taking down the Kansas City Chiefs 20-17. Let's dive into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. So subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing a recap of week 1 of preseason for the Cardinals versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And, Cardinal fans are feeling pretty darn good because they ended up coming out with the W, leaving week 1 of preseason. But like I said before, it's preseason at the end of the day. What you're really looking out for are kind of, I'm not going to say behaviors, but things that you kind of obviously want to work on. You do want to make your mistakes now in preseason compared to the regular season. And on top of that, like, you want to see a lot of these guys fighting for the final 53-man roster, right? Your third stringers, your fourth stringers, right? Your fringe second string guys, right? So overall, I think we saw a pretty darn good job from the Arizona Cardinals, right? A lot of standouts, some things that are kind of concerning, and we're going to be diving into all that here. So smack the like button, subscribe if it's your first time here. We're on the road to 18K. Cannot do it without you guys. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Let's talk about some standouts, shall we? Let's first talk about our QB1, which actually played more than I thought he was going to be playing in week 1 of preseason. He actually played more than a quarter. I was actually very surprised with that. Now, how this game started was the Arizona Cardinals were getting the ball first. Unfortunately, Greg Dortch ends up coughing the ball on the very first play on special teams and causing a fumble, right? So the Chiefs end up getting the ball, scored a touchdown on us after a big run by Pacheco, and there was a pass interference called on rookie cornerback Will Johnson, and then a fade route, super quick, super easy by Patrick Mahomes. Now, there's a reason why Patrick Mahomes is a Super Bowl winning champion. Like, this guy is as good as it gets when it comes down to quarterback, and he deserves it, man. He's a GOAT. He's one of the best out there. So the first stringers for the Kansas City Chiefs made it look really easy. And that's all we saw from Patrick Mahomes. And now right after that, it was the Gardner Minshew show. So once we saw Gardner Minshew out there, he actually played for a good majority of this game. Now, one thing I want to talk about here is because, like I said, we've seen some good things overall in this game. There were some very concerning things that we ended up seeing in this game, but overall, more positives than not, right? Let's do a quick little deep dive here on the stats of the Arizona Cardinals and how it kind of shook out, right? Let's go and dive right into the Cardinals because that's what we're really covering. Kyler Murray had a pretty solid game, right? 7 of 8, 96 yards. I think on paper, Kyler Murray actually played pretty darn well. Now, there was one terrible decision by Kyler Murray, and I mean terrible. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to give any excuses other than it's preseason. Let them learn from it. But, it's one of those things where it's like year 7. How do you make this big of a mistake, right? Because the ball was a dot, but it was to the opposing team. It was right to the midst of a defender of the Kansas City Chiefs. And just any momentum that we had to get, momentum for the Cardinals offense was absolutely taken away from that moment. But we did see Kyler Murray come back and bounce back, and he overall did good. There was an opportunity for us to put points up with a 4th down. We did not go for it. We ended up letting Chad Ryland come in and get a field goal. Overall, Chad Ryland was pretty darn nails. I actually think Jacoby Brissett played pretty darn good today. He was 5 for 8, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, this guy was feeling it, man. Now, Clayton Tune got a good majority of the second half. He was 5 for 9, 47 yards, and an interception. And that interception was equally terrible. Like, that was a terrible interception by Clayton Tune. Overall, Zonovan Knight, 6 carries, 51 yards. Trey Benson, 9 carries, 29 yards. Michael Carter, 7 carries, 20 yards. We saw James Conner here and there. All he did was 3 carries, 11 yards. We don't really need to see very much from him. We know what he's going to be, right? Let's take a look at the receivers. Amari DeMarcado leading everybody and the amount of yards. 2 receptions, 56 yards. We also got a tight end in Travis, 2 receptions, 23 yards. Trey McBride, 1 reception, 21 yards. Now, we're not going to really focus too much on like the yardage and stats because when it comes down to it, these guys had very minimal playing time. What I really want to focus on is what are the standouts that ended up happening, or who were the standouts in this game, right? I think overall, Kyler Murray had a really good game with the exception of that interception. That was the biggest knock on his entire game. But overall, he played good. He used his legs a lot. He said he wants to use his legs a lot more in 2025. And guess what? He's starting to use his legs a lot more. I think he ended up leaving this game with 2 receptions, 9 yards. I know it's not, groundbreaking, but he only had 2 drives. He left in the second quarter, but he's using his legs a lot more, which is really good to see him be a little bit more, decisive. So overall, quarterback Kyler Murray did pretty solid, with the exception of that bad interception. But Jacoby Brissett, I'm actually really proud of Jacoby Brissett. I really am. Right? Talk about a guy that's always been some sort of backup. I know he had a starting role with Cleveland at one point. I didn't really do too much over there, but this is the first time that I really feel like we can have a backup quarterback that's going to be able to win a game or two if Kyler Murray needs to sit out for any specific reason, right? I have all the faith in the world that this backup quarterback in Jacoby Brissett will be able to get us a win or two if needed, right? I think he actually had a very solid game. He got involved with his legs. He threw it up and down the field. I think he was very, very solid. He ended up leaving this game with 2 touchdowns. One of them was to Amari DeMarcado, and this was a really good play. He first starts off looking one way, and then absolutely very quickly throws it to the other way, dumps it off to Amari DeMarcado. It could be, I guess, classified as a screen or maybe just a dump off, but Amari DeMarcado ended up doing the rest, kind of made a cut here and there, stiffed arm somebody, and then took it to the house. It was a very, very good call, really good executed play by the Arizona Cardinals, and a really good throw and catch just overall. So there was that play, and then there was Xavier Weaver. Man, put Xavier Weaver on this roster. Now, the great thing is Xavier Weaver is actually being used in the punt returns as well. And kick returns as well. So that might be something that we might be seeing. Now, in training camp, I did see Xavier Weaver kind of in that role. I just didn't think too much of it. But when it came down to it preseason, after Dortch and DJ Dallas ended up kind of obviously doing their job, now we started to see Xavier Weaver kind of get involved as well. So overall, I'm actually kind of very excited to have him make the roster. I saw a lot of people in my live chat saying, you got to cut Dortch. I don't think they're going to cut Dortch. I really don't. But I do believe that Dortch really needs to kind of go on his P's and Q's, because there's a real chance here that Xavier Weaver could make this team. But I also do think Dortch can make this team as well, because right now you got the top 3 wide receivers right now: Marvin, Michael Wilson, and Zay Jones, right? After them, Greg Dortch. And then who's after them? Most likely going to be uh, Xavier Weaver. He's proven that he can be very, very well, right? A good asset. Now, there was a couple go routes, like at least like 3 of them, that multiple quarterbacks ended up throwing over to Xavier Weaver. Unfortunately, he did not come down with any of those, but there was a really good slant play faked out, made on the inside, and a really good zip ball thrown by Jacoby Brissett to Xavier Weaver, and the rest is history, right? Another touchdown by Xavier Weaver. So overall, he did a pretty fantastic job, right? Pretty fantastic job. The defensive starters, let's talk about them real quick. I thought they were going to be a little bit more, I guess, explosive. I thought this defensive line was going to be a lot better, and I'm talking about the starters, not the second or third stringers. I thought they're going to be a little bit better. Now, we didn't see Josh Sweat today. He didn't suit up. We didn't see Calais Campbell. He didn't suit up either. So what I'm really proud of is Dante Stills. Dante Stills, when he got his opportunity, when the second stringers came in, this guy is always wreaking havoc. Every single time he gets an opportunity, he is wreaking havoc. This guy is an amazing player, and I'm glad we got him as a good depth player, because he's super, super solid. Let me talk about somebody else. Jordan freaking Birch, ladies and gentlemen, 3rd-round pick for the Cardinals. This guy, I should have 2 sacks leaving this game. He should have 2 sacks, but there was 2 penalties that ended up negating those sacks that should have been on his stat sheet. But Jordan Birch looks good. Jordan Birch looks really, really good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited about what he's going to be for the Arizona Cardinals defensive line. Obviously, he's going to make the roster. He's a 3rd-round pick, and it's going to be something that the Cardinals really need to consider, maybe even using him as a rotational guy. Super excited about him. Trey Benson, when given his opportunity, now on paper, 9 carries, 29 yards, don't seem explosive, don't seem great, but watch him run, man. Watch him run. If he sees an open seam, he could be a home run type of running back. Trey Benson, I'm so excited to see what he's going to do next to James Conner, now getting more of the opportunity, which we actually saw some Trey Benson in the 3rd quarter, which I'm actually very surprised in. 2nd quarter, obviously, and then the 3rd quarter a little bit as well. So I'm excited, man. Trey Benson's going to be a beast. Super, super excited about that. Overall, the defense played pretty solid. I think the defense played pretty solid for the Arizona Cardinals. We did see Darren Hall get an interception. Keaton Crawford, another rookie showing out for the Arizona Cardinals, got an interception. Darren Hall should have had 2 interceptions. I was just going to throw that out there. Darren Hall should have had 2 interceptions, but Keaton Crawford also got involved and got himself an interception as well. Was there any sacks in this game? I'm pretty sure there was. There was 1 sack by LJ Collier, which honestly, LJ Collier last year and in 2023 was probably one of the top defensive linemen on this defense. Not anymore. Not anymore. Of course, you got Calais, you got Dalvin Tomlinson, you got a lot of great players that I'm really, really excited about. But he was the only one who really had a sack in this game, LJ Collier. But for the most part, once Jacoby Brissett was in there, first got in there, they were harassing Jacoby Brissett. But he ended up settling down and had himself a pretty darn good game. Overall, those are my big standouts. I think that this was a very good game. Now, even if the Arizona Cardinals didn't win by 3 points, I wasn't going to make a big deal about it. I really wanted to see these second stringers, these third stringers, these fringe third or fourth stringers are either going to make the team or they're not going to make the team, right? That was exactly what I'm really, really looking forward to. Now, if you're going to come out here and say, oh, well, the Arizona Cardinals should cut Kyler Murray or bench Kyler Murray. Guys, they're not going to do that. They're not going to bench Kyler. Kyler had a really good game. With the exception of that interception. Legit. He had a pretty solid game with the exception of that interception. Third down efficiency, they were 4 for 9. Could they be better? Yeah, but they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They were 5 for 13. We had 24 first downs to their 17 first downs. We didn't go for any fourth downs, but it is what it is. We had 3 punts. They had 5 punts. Penalties. 5 penalties, 47 yards for us. Kansas City Chiefs, 11 penalties, 113 yards. So take it for what it's worth, right? We played a clean game better than the Kansas City Chiefs. We did lose a fumble. That was a Greg Dortch fumble, and then we got 2 interceptions. For our defense, 1 for Keaton Crawford and the other one from Darren Hall. Should have been 3, but nevertheless, overall, very good game. We saw a lot of amazing things from this team, and I'm actually really, really excited. I'm really, really excited about what this Arizona Cardinal team can accomplish in 2025. Let's not get too high up on our britches. We do got the Denver Broncos in week 2 with a joint practice this week. So nothing but content coming out of your ears. So definitely do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button and subscribe if you're new here. We're on the road to 18K. Cannot do it without you guys. Actually, let me mention one more thing. Just one more thing. And it's a negative thing. So if you made it this far into the video, appreciate you. But I want to mention something, and it's the Drew Petzing situation. Drew Petzing needs to get better at not being so obvious on I'm going to run this ball down the defense throat, right? There has been 2 occasions where they were absolutely stuffed. It was just very obvious play calling from Drew Petzing. I'm hoping he learns, especially when it comes down to the regular season. If it's a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, let's spread it out a little bit, right? Because if you're having that jumbo set, 11, 12 personnel, it's almost obvious that that defense is going to probably come blitz and send more people to stuff that running back. So a little knock on Petzing, but overall, I think Petzing had an actual pretty darn good, solid game. Game plan, good play calls, right, overall. But that was my one little knock that I had on Petzing. But overall, very exciting, very good. I'm actually very excited about this week 1 performance and nothing but heading over to week 2 versus the Denver Broncos. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.